The story begins after their parents suddenly pass away. Haruka and his twin sister Sora move to their grandfather's old house in a quiet village where they used to spend childhood vacations. Haruka starts reconnecting with old friends, but Sora refuses to leave the house, even when Haruka begins attending school. As Haruka drifts further away, Sora feels like she's losing him. One night, she visits his room, trying to get closer to him in a rather intimate way. Later, she asks Haruka for another favor, helping her take measurements for a school uniform. Finally, she joins him at school but is disappointed to find they're in different classes. Meanwhile, during gym class, Akira accidentally soaks Kazuha, who forgot her swimsuit, and takes her somewhere to dry off. Haruka finds Kazuha's phone and goes to return it, only to overhear a strange conversation. Kazuha calls Akira Oni-san, big sister, which catches Haruka off guard. Clearly, there's something deeper between them. Kazuha realizes Haruka was eavesdropping and wastes no time chasing him down to explain. And wow, she drops a bombshell. Turns out Akira is her older sister, but they have different moms. It's like a soap opera. Because of their family's status, Kazuha's father never openly acknowledged Akira. This has left Kazuha torn. She resents her father, but also feels guilty toward Akira. But it's not all drama. Haruka sweeps Kazuha off on a date to cheer her up, and before they know it, sparks are flying. Their feelings for each other grow fast and things heat up quickly. Meanwhile, Akira has been pushing herself too hard and eventually collapses from exhaustion. Talk about an emotional roller coaster. On their way home from school, Haruka and Kazuha run into a panicked Yahiro, who tells them Akira is missing. They rush to Akira's house and find her passed out. Kazuha feels guilty, realizing she was so caught up in Haruka that she neglected Akira. Akira recovers, but she doesn't hold back. She calls Kazuha out for abandoning Haruka and carrying unnecessary guilt. This sends Kazuha into a depression, unsure of what to do. But she finally gathers the courage to attend the festival, where she reunites with Haruka. He reveals a big secret. Her dad had been quietly supporting Akira all along. When Kazuha sees her father praising Akira, she realizes she misjudged him. This finally helps her move past her guilt and fully embrace her relationship with Haruka. Later, Haruka is eavesdropping on another conversation between Akira and Kazuha near the girls' locker room. This time, Akira catches him and takes the phone, changing everything. Haruka notices Akira acting strangely and decides to talk to her alone at school. He sees the sadness in her eyes and wants to help. He remembers that when they were kids, Akira lost her mom's pendant, so he offers to help her find it. They search near the old tree where they used to play, but Haruka is shocked. It's gone, destroyed by a landslide. He tries digging around, but the pendant is nowhere to be found. They head back to Akira's house, where they share a quiet, romantic moment in the bath. Later, at the festival, Haruka sees Akira crying during the sacred dance and rushes over to comfort her. That's when things take a turn. Haruka bursts into Akira's room just in time to stop her from burning an important clue. The missing doctor's journal. The journal reveals something shocking. Kazuha and Akira might have been switched at birth. Haruka suggests a DNA test to settle the mystery. Yahiro is unsure, but Kazuha agrees, despite her mother's protests. Haruka fills Akira in on the plan, and they agree to wait for the results. But when the results arrive, Akira panics and disappears. Haruka tracks her down at the train station, where they have a deep heart-to-heart. Meanwhile, Kazuha and Sora deliver the DNA results, but Akira is too afraid to open them. Just then, Kazuha's mom arrives and drops another bomb. Akira's mom and Kazuha's mom were in the same hospital room when they were born. Akira's mom gave Kazuha's mom a pendant as a symbol of their connection. The DNA test confirms it. Akira was born to a different mother. Kazuha's mom apologizes and lets Akira keep the pendant. In the end, Akira confesses her love to Haruka, and he feels the same way. Meanwhile, Sora asks Haruka to help her with her school uniform measurements. The next day, Nao drops by with mosquito repellent for Haruka since Sora is terrified of bugs. She doesn't stay long. Later, Ryu invites Haruka to sneak a peek at the girls cleaning the rooftop pool, but Haruka warns him not to get caught and leaves. Later, Ryu teases Nao, saying Haruka has a crush on her, but Nao thinks he doesn't like her that way. Little do they know, there's some history between them. Years ago, Nao ran to Haruka's house to escape her parents fighting and ended up on top of him on the veranda with her clothes undone. Super awkward. Since then, she's been carrying guilt over what happened. Surprisingly, Ryu, Akira, and Kazuha all ship Haruka and Nao together. They set up a plan to get them alone at the school pool on a Sunday. When Nao gets scared by a black cat in the locker room, Haruka rushes in to save her. They manage to hide from the school supervisor and finally talk things out. Haruka admits he wasn't mad about what happened, just shocked. Nao is relieved, but things take a turn when Sora finds out Nao has been on Haruka's mind, and she is not happy about it. Sora is not a fan of Nao these days, not even a little, and she's not shy about showing it, throwing shade right in front of Ryu and Nao herself. Then one day, as she's wandering around the house, boom, she catches Haruka and Nao getting busy in the living room. You can imagine her reaction. She kicks Nao out on the spot, warning her to stay away from Haruka for good. And to top it off, she dumps the curry they cooked together straight down the drain, saying she only wants Haruka's cooking. Ouch, that's cold. After that, Nao's feeling pretty down. She wants to see Haruka, but with Sora always lurking around, she has to play it cool. But Haruka, he's like Mr. Sunshine, convinced that Sora will come around and accept them both. Ryu told him Sora's changed, and he's hoping Nao can get back to her cheerful self too. Sora does kind of soften when she sees Haruka and Nao together, but she's still keeping her guard up, keeping her distance from the lovebirds. That's why she skips the big summer beach trip with Haruka, Nao, Ryu, Kazuha, Akira, and Motoka. But then, out of nowhere, Sora crashes the beach trip, only to hear that someone's drowning. And guess who the victim is? Haruka. Nao saves the day with her quick thinking and CPR skills, making Sora feel even more insecure. She becomes super clingy, trying to keep Haruka from leaving the house, making up excuses to keep him close. Things finally come to a head when she straight up forces Haruka to choose between her and Nao. But Haruka just shrugs it off and heads to school with Nao like nothing happened. Then Sora goes missing, leaving behind a cryptic text. The whole gang bands together to search for her, and Nao finally finds her at a bus stop standing in the rain. But Sora is not having it. She accuses Nao of changing Haruka. Just then, lightning strikes the bus stop, setting it on fire. Sora panics, realizing she left her beloved stuffed bunny inside. Without hesitation, Nao risks her life to get it back. That moment breaks Sora. She finally opens up, admitting she's terrified that Haruka will leave her behind. Yeah. The next night, Sora finally shows up at the summer festival and, for the first time, she's willing to give Nao a chance. Haruka tries to have a real conversation with Sora about his relationship with Nao, but her recent behavior, her teasing, her rejection of Nao, has him worried. He plans a date with Nao but can't bring himself to tell Sora, instead pretending he's hanging out with Ryu. But during the date, his mind keeps drifting back to Sora. He even ends up buying gifts for his sister instead of Nao. They had planned to cook croquette curry together, but Sora's bad dream and sudden illness cancel their plans. The next day, Nao notices Haruka hiding their date from Sora but plays it cool. Then things get weird. Haruka walks in on Sora in her room, whispering his name. Turns out, she's had a crush on him since they were kids, all because of a childhood kiss during a game of pretend. Haruka takes Nao on another date, but he's still shaken from walking in on Sora's solo moment. Trying to shake it off, he suggests going to a love hotel, but Nao sees right through him and asks the big question, does he truly love her? Haruka hesitates. He can't answer. Later, Sora falls seriously ill, and Haruka stays home to care for her. When her fever breaks, she confesses her feelings, and this time, Haruka doesn't push her away. They cross the line, finally giving in to their feelings. As the twins grow closer, everyone starts noticing, especially Ko and Nao. Then, one afternoon it happens. Ko and Nao walk in on the twins in the act at the Kasugano house. No more doubts about what's going on. Ko freaks out and runs away, while Nao leaves calmly. But Sora, she doesn't care at all. Haruka considers ditching school, but Sora tells him to shrug it off. The next day, Ko vows never to speak to him again, and Nao officially ends things with him after he apologizes. That night, Haruka gets into a huge fight with Sora when he suggests they stop their relationship. Things get physical, and to make it worse, they realize their parents left them with no money. They're forced to move in with relatives. But that means living apart. Then, one afternoon, Haruka wakes up to find Sora gone. Her room is trashed, and she left behind a text that sounds like a suicide note. Panic sets in. He frantically searches for her. Nao joins the hunt, revealing that she confronted Sora earlier, saying they're now even after what happened that summer day. Haruka suddenly remembers Akira once mentioning a lake. He sprints there, finding Sora wading deeper into the water. He rushes after her, trying to stop her, but they nearly drown together. Days later, they leave everything behind, running away to start fresh in a new city overseas, where a family friend lives. Ko doesn't approve, but now, she believes they'll find happiness together.